Hey, what's going on, everybody? I've got another question for you. What do you think of when you see this? I know, right? When we see things like that, that moves us to a form of compassion, or another word is mercy. We feel sorry for them. We want to help them. What can we do? What can I give you? How can I help you to make sure that you're safe and you're okay? Because look, you want to help them. Well, a lot of times we can have mercy and compassion because we see things like this. But a lot of times we can see things like this and we don't have any mercy and we don't have any compassion. And why should we have mercy and why should we have compassion? As we've been talking about the past few weeks, last week we focused on before. You know, before you win a championship, before you win the swim meet, before you have the play, before you do anything, what do you have to do? You know, we learn a lot about these great people who have done wonderful things all through God's power. But yet, did it just happen? No, there were things that were in place before. And we want to go off that and continue that by this week. We're going to be talking about David and continuing that story. And I'm going to come to you from 1 Samuel chapter 24, verses 1 through 18. 1 Samuel chapter 24, verses 1 through 18. So here's what we know. Saul didn't like David. And people are talking about how great David was, but Saul, yeah, whatever. Well, it really upset him and he got bothered. It got him bothered so much that David was out hiding in caves. He was out in the wilderness, and Saul sent a whole bunch of people after him. So that's where this story picks up. So Saul is out looking for David, and David is out hiding in the wilderness and the caves and different things like that. And as Saul goes into the cave, David and his guys, they were actually in that cave. Can you imagine someone coming after you and you're hiding from them and you're hiding in the back? It probably was this big deep cave, and you look and someone goes, "Psst, hey, that's Saul. He's in here. Where's David? David, Saul's over here. This is your chance. Man, you need to get that dude. You need to get him. You can finally get your place that you deserve. Come on, let's go get him. Yeah. So you think that's what would happen, right? I mean, if you play any video games where you're against somebody and you're trying to get them, you try to get them. And especially if they're hiding and you don't think that they know that you see them, you can get them, right? Well, what did David say? David said, hold up, wait a minute. Nope, we ain't doing this. So what he did is he snuck up, and the king had a cloak or a coat, something like that. And he actually cut off part of it. And so when Saul left, David then came out afterwards like, yo, Saul, hey, check your phone, man, I text you. Okay, he didn't text him. If it happened nowadays, he probably would be like, hey, DM, man, yeah, I sent you. I got a filter on there, hey. No, he didn't do that. But what he did is say, hey, Saul, and I'm sure everybody's like, uh-oh, okay, it's on. No, but he then submitted to Saul and said, hey, yo, man, I could have got you, but I didn't. See, David showed compassion and mercy, as well as he was respecting those who were in authority, who God has placed authority over him. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, that would be really hard. If someone was coming after me, trying to get me, someone was coming after me, trying to hurt me, trying to do all this stuff to my family and my friends, and then all of a sudden I get a chance to get him. So just as we learned about compassion and mercy, and David really showed that. He had the opportunity to do whatever he wanted. He had people telling him, yeah, this is what you need to do. Go get it, do it. But instead, he respected those who God put in authority over him. And he showed compassion and mercy. Now, what does Jesus say about compassion and mercy? Let's go to the New Testament, and we're going to look in Luke. Luke chapter 6, verse 27 through 38. Luke chapter 6, verse 27 through 38. And this is Jesus who's saying this, okay? So it starts out to say, but I say to you who hear, love your enemies, Do good to those who hate you. I'll get back to that. Hold on. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. As it goes on, it says in verse 32, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners love those who love them. Let's go on. If you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? For even sinners do the same. If you lend to those from whom you expect to receive, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to others in order to receive back the same amount. And this is Jesus saying in verse 35, but love your enemies and do good and lend, expecting nothing in return, and your reward will be great. And you will be sons of the Most High, for he himself is kind to ungrateful and evil men. Verse 36, be merciful just as your Father is merciful. Verse 37, do not judge and you will not be judged, and do not condemn and you will not be condemned. Pardoned and you will be pardoned. Verse 38, give and it will be given to you. They will pour into your lap a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For by your standard of measure, it will be measured to you in return. Now, we talked about a lot of stuff there, but the thing I really want you to learn from this, and again, I'm in the New Testament, I'm in Luke chapter 6, is that, listen to what it says, is that how we love, that even sinners of those love, and how we look to do good, even that's done, and how we lend, even that's done, but how we want to be different. We as followers of Jesus want to be different. Just like it says there in verse 35, but love your enemies and do good and lend, expecting nothing in return. How hard is it to do something and be like, yeah, I did that. Mom, Dad, I did that. Yep, we're going to go get a treat. I'm going to go get that new game. I'm going to get a new shirt. I get something in return because I did something good. But yet if we read here, it's how we're supposed to do this, but not do that expecting anything in return. And how we are supposed to be merciful just as God our Father is merciful. And I know that's hard. That is hard for me. And just as it says as we go down, give and it will be given to you. Now, a lot of times you hear give and you think, okay, well, I got to have money, and if I give my first 10%, that's a tithe, and then if I give a offering or a blessing to someone else, I can do this and that. Well, when we're talking about giving, yeah, that's part of it, but there's even more to it. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and how it was talking about there in Luke about how we want to give and how it'll be given back to us. Just as it said, give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and then running over. Now I just pressed that down and shaken it, and it ran over. And what does it say? For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Now, I know it's hard to show compassion and mercy, and like we talked about earlier, it's a lot easier to show compassion and mercy to somebody who we see a picture or something that just makes us go, oh man, I want to help, I want to give. But what about showing compassion and mercy to that person at school or who's on your team who maybe just doesn't treat you as right as you think so? Or maybe someone, when they say, hey, lend, can you lend something to me? Hey, can I borrow your game? Or can I borrow your skateboard? Or can I borrow your ball? Or can I borrow this and that? Or doing good to someone. Could we, you know what, I'm going to help you out with that. And yeah, this is how you do that. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew, but if you go over here and you press this and that, that's a code and you can skip 2 or 3 levels. So I want to help you out and do good to them. But yet if we do that and we go, okay, I did it. Okay, you need to Give it back. They never gave it back to me. I helped him out. I let him use my stuff, and still hasn't returned it. No, but what it says is that how we should have a grateful heart, a merciful heart, and how we can give, and how we give, it'll be given back to us. It'll be given back to us that it'll be so much that we try to put it in our hand, and it keeps going, and it goes, and it goes, but see, we try so hard, and that when it comes to giving and receiving, is that we keep our hand closed, and we want stuff in return, and you better give me that because I gave you that or I did that, and we're not able to receive it. But when we can be merciful, when we can be compassionate toward others, and realize that God has shown us the greatest gift of compassion and mercy, how his mercy endures forever, how we don't look to give just to do that, but we look to do that to be a light and to show others how good God has been to us, how he has provided for us. And again, that's not just financially, that's with maybe our time, that's with our resources, that's helping others out. When we can give and be merciful and compassionate, we can give our love, we can give our time, we can give help to things, and God will bless us. But with what heart are we doing it? Are we doing it so look at me, I just gave? Hey, look, are you ready? Are you paying attention? Hi, my name's Gabe, and I'm giving. Take a picture. No, because it's about our heart. It's about our heart and how we can be merciful and compassionate to others. So I challenge you this week. How are you going to be merciful? How are you going to be compassionate toward others? Are you going to do that because you want to have your cup, you want to have you filled up, and you want people to take a picture of you and say, look at you, man, you are doing such a great job. You are so merciful and kind. Or do you do that and you help others and you give to others and no one sees it? Well, no one might see it, but God does. And God looks upon our heart. So let's this week, let's be merciful, let's be compassionate. And let's remember how we should love and give and lend to others and not expect something in return. Because we know that God has done so much for us